Hi, I've had a request to show how to put strips from other photos onto a background photo. And so I just picked out some colorful flower photos. You can do it with people, sports, players, athletes, professional athletes, school friends, whatever you want to do it with. And this is how it's done. This is going to be my background. And by the way, I'm using Photoshop Elements 9. You do it the exact same way in Photoshop. I'm sure you could also do this in GIMP and probably also in Paint.net. First of all, you have your background open. It's a locked background layer. I prefer not to work on locked layers because sometimes, even though we're not really going to be doing much with this layer, I always just, as a matter of principle, in case I make any changes to it, I hate to change the original layer, so I always click and drag the background layer to the new layer icon, and then click and drag the background layer to the trash can to close it. That way I'm always working on a copy. Now I have 3 other photos here of flowers I'm going to make my strips from. Let me move this one over just a little bit. And they're different sizes and different resolutions, and you'll be seeing that as we go along with this. And basically that's no problem because we can what's called scale them. We can resize them. Let's bring one up now. Take a look at it. It's also a background layer, so we're going to drag it to the new layer icon, drag the background layer to the trash can to close it. And we want this to fit. Oh, I hate it when they do that. Okay. We want this. We're going to go to View, Fit on Screen, because we want to see the whole thing. And I'm going to pull down the frame a little bit just so I can see the top. We're going to use the Marquee Selection tool. And you might have the ellipse showing. Just click and hold, and you'll see there are 2 tools there, the rectangular marquee tool and the elliptical marquee tool. Click the rectangular. Now, make sure, starting at the option bar on the left, you have New Selection or even Add to Selection highlighted. No feathering. Mode is normal. And kind of take a look at your photo and where are some flowers. I kind of like this area here. It has all different colors and textures. So I'm just going to click and drag out a little strip. Might be too wide, might be too narrow. Then I'm going to press Control J on my keyboard, and you'll notice that puts that selection on a separate layer. All I have to do is click and drag that layer onto my background photo, and there it is. It's a little wide, that's okay, we can change it later. We're going to minimize this guy. Bring up the second photo. Excuse me, I'm using Restore. You can just click and drag it. Once again, find a place that has some colorful flowers you might want to use. Click and drag out a strip. Control J on your keyboard. Look over here to Layers panel. It makes its own layer. Click and drag that onto your background. And let's minimize this back into the photo bin. And the last one, this one, excuse me. How did I do this? Okay, click and drag it up here. I like the area where this daylily happens to be. So I'm just going to click and drag a strip out of that one. Control J, put it on its own layer here. Click and drag that one over and you'll notice that one's a lot smaller. Let's minimize this one. And let's minimize the project bin. And let's View, Fit on Screen so you can kind of see what we're doing here. Alright, I'm going to open this, click and drag the frame open. And I'm going to be using the Move tool. Let's do this one last. Click on the magnifying glass. This is too big. I can't see the boundaries. If you hold down the Alt key, the magnifying glass turns into a minus, and you can click on it and make it smaller. Click on this, and you can see that this one, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, extends way up above. So let's slide her down. And also, it's a little wide. So let's Let's bring it down a little bit and make it a little smaller here. Okay, click the green check mark. Same thing with this one. Let's bring it down and make it a little smaller. We don't make it too small because we're going to turn these. Okay. Click the check mark. Now this guy, let's click and make him a lot bigger. And we may have to adjust the other ones here. Let's see. Yep. And let's narrow him up a little bit. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, now we're going to put these, we want to turn these guys. This one's a little fat yet. Like I say, this one's a little... Okay. Now we want to turn them, so all you're going to do is kind of place them where they kind of where they are. And you know how to turn. You wait till the little arrow is bent, and you just turn it to the degree you want it turned and click the green arrow. Same thing with this one. Now I'm eyeballing this. You can turn it. Now it helps to move it over close to the other one. And look at this space between them called a channel. And it's wider at the bottom than at the top. So I usually just eyeball them. That works out okay. But I've been doing this for a while. Okay. And then let's turn this one. Drag it over here and see how far off we are. Oh my, we're off. Okay. So the channel looks about the same width. Okay. There you are. You can also use the arrow keys if you want to move these up just a little bit. Okay. And you can, I prefer to use the arrow keys actually rather than my mouse. The arrow keys do a better job. Okay, now you'll notice in the layers panel, here let's view it on screen so you can see them. In the layers panel, each of them is on their own layers, which means you can open the effects panel and you can either put a drop shadow, okay, go down here for drop shadows, or what's nice, because you want lines on both sides, is just stroke them. Strokes sometimes are easy to use, sometimes they're hard to use. I just want to stroke all the way around. So 0.5 pixels, generally you can change this, so don't worry about the color. Let's try 5 pixels on these guys. Well, I haven't highlighted it yet. Okay, see what that looks like. Double click it, click on the little swatch, and you can change this down to black or white. Let's make white. Okay, you can also increase the size. There you go. And click OK. Same thing with this one. And let's adjust it. Let's change the color. Okay. Make them as fat or as narrow as you want them to be. Click on the swatch. Bring up the color picker, and OK. And there you go. Basically, that's how you put photo strips from 3 different pictures on 1 different picture. Now I eyeballed it, and obviously I haven't. Let's click on it and use it to move that over a little bit. This one actually needs to be turned, which we can't do right now. It's a little bit wider at the bottom than at the top, but you can adjust these as you go along. It's no big deal. Okie dokie. Let's move that one over. The arrow keys give you a little more control on this stuff. Okay, that's how you do that. Now, what if I decide, ooh, I don't like white there. What if I wanted some other color? So you just double click. There's a little FX that appears at the end, the right end of each layer. Double click on the little FX and you get the style settings. And for this one on the stroke, Let's say you want to change it to, oh, my favorite color, purple. Okay, so you could do that too. And you could do that with all of them. Change them all to purple. And for flowers, it actually looks better, but what do I know? Okay. Click OK. There you have that one. And that's how you do photo strips.